afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Alyssa Corm and Ed Carson here with a look at today's session. We saw some nice gains across the board. And Ed, what are the couple stocks that we're going to be checking in on?
Well, we are going to take a look at a few stocks. We're going to take a look at Marietta, Kulik and Soffa, and Align Technology, all flashing buy points today.
All right, well, let's take a look at the major indexes. Here is the NASDAQ composite, which scored a gain of 0.7% for the day. The S&P 500 up 0.6%. The Dow up 1%, and small caps, Russell 2000 up about 1.2% for the day. So Ed, we're continuing higher here, and there are a lot of stocks presenting actionable opportunities. What a difference a week makes.
Yeah, and that'd be the only thing I caution is that it looks really good this week. This market looks like it's a tech-led, broad-based rally, which is pretty much exactly what we would want to see. But it is, just a week ago, we had the Dow, S&P, and the Russell 2000 all below their 50-day lines. So that's the only bad thing. But if this trend continues, it's a great opportunity to take advantage of, stocks that are moving higher if this can keep going. The NASDAQ actually closed near the bottom half of its range, maybe not the true range, as people shifted to elsewhere, but it was definitely a nice gain elsewhere.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the S&P 500 chart here. As you mentioned, a recent test of that 50-day line, but now solidly in new high ground.
New high ground. New high here. So while some of the giant techs didn't do great, we definitely saw infrastructure stocks rallying after President Biden said that and you can bring up the Dow, go ahead. It's like said that there was a $1 trillion infrastructure deal with a bipartisan group. So you saw a lot of infrastructure type stocks, including Caterpillar, probably the best component in the Dow. You can see the Dow looks like it closed back above the 50-day line, and this was the weak link for sure.
Yeah, so that a key technical move right there. And then small caps, taking a look at the IWM ETF, a solid move here too.
Yeah, so really good. And with everything moving higher, then that's really a positive trend as opposed to the split rally we've had off and on for the past several months. This would be really nice to see this continue.
Right. But as always, we're going to stay nimble and not get too complacent there. But let's take a look at some key movers today. Ticker MLM, Martin Marietta, an infrastructure play, gaining 2.6% above average volume, right around its 50-day line. Actionable today, Ed?
Yeah, I think it'd be nice if it really did get above the 50-day line for sure. It was right around there heading into it, and it's breaking a trend line probably depending on how you draw it. This is a good infrastructure play. I mean, this is one. There's plenty of others, but this is one that's offering maybe an entry point here. Even if you say I don't want to buy this one, I would keep this one on your radar. This is one of those you want to keep an eye on how other sectors are doing. This is one that may play a little differently than techs, so might do well. It's something definitely something to be keeping in touch with, I think.
Yeah, group 46 out of 197 for now. So yeah, if this maybe was a little bit too early of an entry for more traditional CAN-SLIM investors, maybe we'll see another entry develop as it continues to climb up the right side of the base. Maybe a handle forms. But we'll keep tabs on MLM. And then KLIC in the semiconductor equipment group, a really nice cup with handle breakout here, Ed. Volume behind the move, a nice close, and on the weekly chart, that RS line blue dot at a new high.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive because it's still got a little ways to get above the high, but I guess reversed lower on that peak. So it's definitely nice action here. It wasn't the prettiest looking cup. Because it came down pretty sharply. We didn't look at this for a while because there were other chip equipment makers that sort of held closer to their 50-day line or even above it. So this one came down pretty sharply. So that it's not the greatest, but pretty nice test of the 50-day line coming back. So a fairly nice handle here. And as you say, breaking out in volume, tremendous growth too. You look down there, big acceleration and growth on EPS and sales. So there's a lot to like about this one.
Yeah, there definitely is. And what about Align Technology? We've been keeping a close watch on this one, maybe making investors smile a little bit more today, clearing this draw the line buy point over its recent highs, maybe closing, around its middle of the trading range for the day, up almost 2%. We did see some volume in today's trading action.
Yeah, it would have been great if it closes at the high. You always want the highs and more, but pretty nice action. And that's exactly where you can try it. It was almost a handle. It was 4 days into a handle. So if it had stayed there, this would have been the proper buy point, an official one. But instead, it was just an early entry above that draw the line area, rebounding from the 50-day line. So it was a neighbor base. As you can see, there was a sort of a failed breakout, and that happens. I mean, honestly, that sort of looks like the NASDAQ. I mean, that's sort of, we sort of did that with the NASDAQ. So there was a lot of neighbor bases, a lot of double bottoms, a lot of cut bases. So this is one, it sort of works during the pandemic and works out. It's like, I might as well get this. It's the pandemic. I'm staying inside. It's like, well, it's the pandemic is over. I want to look good. And this is something that I don't have to have braces per se. So, there's a lot to like about this one. The RS line didn't fall too much, and it's, held near highs after a solid gain during the pandemic.
Yeah, if you want exposure to the medical sector, this is one option for you. Last couple quarters, pandemic excluded, some strong growth, pretty decent earnings estimates as well. We'll just check in here, and it has that IBD mutual fund index sponsorship and an increasing number of funds beyond that. So both things that we like to see there as well. All right, everyone, that is it for today's show. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can catch us tomorrow morning on IBD Live, where we will be analyzing actionable stocks in real time, talking about portfolio management strategies, and of course, taking a step back and looking at overall market conditions to help guide our investing decisions. Thanks so much for your commentary, Ed, and thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow.